Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
The reality is you have to have been in this business. In my opinion, you need to have been in the business at least 10 to 15 years to be coaching someone else.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Here we go. It's the next episode of the Making Waves VO podcast, and we're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about the voiceover business and the voiceover coaching business coming up in just a couple of minutes with Linda Bruno. So stick around for that coming up in just a second, but want to get with Bobby and first say that our Making Waves VO podcast is presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Bobby, it's good to have you, and good to talk to you. How are you this week, Bobby?
I'm doing good. We've all been kind of fighting something. I think all three of us,
Yeah.
our guest and you and I, with our whatever it is, a virus or allergies or something. So it's good to finally be on the mend from that. I hate it when you have to tell a client, I don't really have my voice. Can we push off for a few days? But most of them are pretty understanding. Did you miss any work when you were sick?
I didn't miss any, and I heard a long time ago in terms of this kind of stuff, do you tell the client that you're not able to do anything? And now there will be times that you're not able to do anything because your voice is just shit. But there are times where you've got a little nasal, something going on, and you're really worried about that. But most times it's worse in our own head than it is to the outside perspective, right?
True,
and so
true.
I learned way back in the day, don't even tell a client. If a client asks, then you can go, oh, yeah, I've had a little bit of something. If you want, I can re-record it in a couple of days. Or, if you really need to get somebody else, I understand. You
didn't grow up with Catholic guilt, did you?
No, right? Well, I've got that Irish guilt working for me all day and all night, yo. So that's my story. But yeah, that's what I've always heard is like, hey, don't mention it. Don't say anything unless you just can't speak, obviously.
Right.
But don't mention it and just see if they bring it up because you're gonna possibly just talk your way out of a paycheck. So yeah, who knows? Well, let's get this lady going. She's not gonna wait in the waiting room much longer. She is a voice actor. She's a demo producer. She's a coach, and she runs an amazing group for voiceover people called the Voiceover Gurus. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the multi-talented, the multiple hat wearing Linda Bruno.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your show. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Because I listen to your podcast.
Yeah, and we listen to Linda's. Linda's got her own podcast as well. Bobby, you may not know this, but I have been a featured guest on Linda's podcast.
What?
I know, I've been cheating on you.
Paul Schmidt, who is a colleague, had a list recently of his top 14 voiceover podcasts, and we all made it, by the way.
I saw that. I'm so honored. I know. So excited.
Yeah, Paul's a cool dude. And by the way, Bobby, do you remember when we did our Olympics episode of the podcast? This is a quick interjection, Linda, by the way. I've got, you know how newspapers will write when newspapers were still around, they would write retractions or corrections and do these kinds of things. I had, on the Olympics episode, I said the Olympics are every 2 years. The Olympics are every 4 years, right?
Well, I just let you go.
Well, you should have interrupted me. The reason why I thought it was 2 years because the COVID pushed the Olympics to 2022, and so that's why it's only been 2 years since the last. That's what confused me.
Did somebody call you out on it?
No, I called myself out on it. When I listened back recently, I'm like, oh, you clown. You clown. I just hate big, dumb mistakes like that. So, this is my official retraction.
Okay.
So there we go. All
It
right.
threw off your count. It threw it off. It's okay.
Yeah, I know. And so, okay, that business is out of the way. Let's get down to business with Linda Bruno. Linda, you're in New York, right? Long Island?
I am, yes.
All right. And Linda, let's go back a little bit because Linda and I go way back, and I hired Bobby. I met Linda similarly to how you and I met. I had cast Linda for an automotive commercial.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
one
Linda,
of those pay-to-plays. Mm-hmm.
Yep, on one of the pay-to-plays. But Linda, let's go back to your history a little bit. You've been doing this since the late 90s, right?
Yeah, I actually started my training in 1988.
Wow.
Long time ago, because I was lucky enough to get connected with an amazing coach down in South Florida that a lot of people actually worked with, Connie Zimmett, the late, great Connie Zimmett. And I found my passion pretty early. I just had no idea how long the road would be to get to the point of where I wanted to be. Because back then, nobody knew how to get into voiceover. It was just like a select few that did it, especially down in Miami.
Especially women, right?
Yeah, it was like either you were in or you, and I had no one had any information. Obviously, we didn't have the internet. So I kind of bumbled my way through with odd jobs. I got into radio finally in 94. Just so I could be near a microphone. Because in my infinite innocence, I thought, well, if I go to a radio station, I'm going to be able to do voiceovers there because they'll hire me for voiceovers. Not realizing that they use the talent that are behind the microphones. So internships, wound up on the air. That finally wound up in Fort Myers, Florida. Working in radio there and also in the business office. And then meeting Brian Lee at that point, that was like 94. And he had a production company and he was like, do you want to come down and try out a car spot? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I did. At that point, I was ready to do anything to do a voiceover. And it became like my biggest client. Think about it. I was making $18,000 a year as the assistant business manager for 3 radio stations in Fort Myers, Florida. I barely had a pot to piss in, and I was like bouncing checks, and I would be using radio station trade. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Irby's coupons, yeah.
Yes, to eat. I would be selling CDs, to try to get some money to go out. And from that point, I was making really good. I was making like $1,700 a month doing car spots, and that was insanity for that time. Yeah. And for my age and what I was doing. But I realized I maxed out in that market. It was like there was no bigger client. And I had stars in my eyes. So, I flew out to Promax in California in 96 to try to find an agent and like press the flesh with a few agents. With my little demo, I went out there by myself. Let me tell you, I put blinders on. And I went for it because I thought, I don't have any children. I'm not married. I was in a relationship. If I don't pursue what I want to do now, I'm going to regret it the rest of my life.
So wait a minute. What was your was your demo on a DAT player back then?
No.
Cassette?
I had originally a cassette, yes. And I had a little plastic case. And at the time, you weren't supposed to show your face because you'd get pigeonholed or whatever.
Yeah.
So I had an artist create like a little rendering of a microphone with a set of pearls around her. I still have it. It's great. And I used that for my marketing. I even got an 888 number because that was like the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. So, wouldn't be pigeonholed for an accent being in certain area code or something like that.
Right. Make yourself a big deal. So yeah, I started like that, and then it became, well, if you're going to come to New York, you're going to need to, get an agent and do all that. So I went out there, met a few agents that are still actually working these days, and they were like, yeah, well, we can't talk to you unless you actually move to New York.
Oh.
I know, because they wanted to know that you were serious, and they weren't doing anything remotely at that point in time. So I had to just pick up sticks, and I left everything in Fort Myers, and I moved up in 97, and I stayed with my then boyfriend's mother at the time on Long Island. I got a job in radio again, this time union, so I was making good money.
Nice.
And I got an agent within like 2 weeks, a New York agent, and then I just started auditioning. So it's been a long road. I've almost quit a few times, but I know that the fact that I started where I started, and then I had to transition because I started to see that people were using home studios, and I wanted to continue making money, so I realized early on that I couldn't rely on my agents because, the auditions would come and go. And then booking was another thing. I'd go 6 months without booking anything, and you've got to make money. So I kind of learned really quickly that I need to create a studio and I have to start to get on this train of reaching out to clients, and then the P2Ps arrived. And so it's some varied experiences with this. It's just been a very long time.
Don't go anywhere. The Making Waves VO podcast returns in a moment.
This is Heather Bell, voice actor, and I can tell you you've made an awesome choice listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I know you're gonna enjoy it.
As a voice actor, you want to focus on what's important, right? Like pulling off the perfect read. You don't want to stress about tech stuff. That's why Full Compass is in your corner. With 50 years experience in pro audio, Full Compass has everything we voice actors need. Mics, headphones, monitors, mixers, interfaces, DAWs, all the goodies. And their certified product experts help with everything they sell. Plus, you can get free same-day shipping, flexible financing, and a low price guarantee. See it all at fullcompass.com. Fullcompass.com. They know VO.
Making Waves returns. How did it work with not having that in studio, or your home studio rather, experience? I mean, that had to have been a learning curve for you, right?
Yeah, so I moved up in 97. By the time about 99, I got married, and Brian Lee and I were still really good friends. And he said to me, and you know how successful he became, he was like, Lynn, if you want to be successful, you have to have an ISDN line. And he's like, that's going to give the significance to agents and to people that you're serious. So I didn't have any money, so I borrowed $5,000 from my parents and got my first Telos Zephyr.
Nice.
And had an ISDN line installed. Yep, in Mineola. And I got like a TV station, and then I started to do some work for clients on the ISDN to get rolling. But other than that, it was like slow. I built my own first website. I bought a book on Dreamweaver.
Wow.
So I really, really wanted to try to make it work. Now, I still stayed in radio, though, to pay my bills. So I was never brave enough until I got fired in 2006 to just solely do voiceover. Because I had a pension and benefits and all that. You don't want to leave that,
Why did you almost quit the voiceover business a couple of times, Linda?
So the first time was like, let's see, probably around 99, 2000. I had not booked anything in like 6 months. And I was going into the city, seeing casting directors over and over and over again and getting the same thing. Thanks for coming in. You sound great. And no rhyme or reason. They give you no reasons. You have no idea why you didn't book a job. You desperately call your agent and go, what's wrong with me? And you're just, your mental health deteriorates because you have no feedback. Like I didn't have coaches I could contact and call and say, can I do a read for you or something? And I remember with my ex-husband at the time, we were going to a concert and we're driving in the car, and I said, wait, let me back up. Earlier that day, I went in for an audition, and it was for this AT&T, a spinoff of an AT&T company that was going to be running in the Midwest. And I walked in, and there's like, oh, hey, you're audition 50. You're our last person. And so I just went, I don't really care anymore. I don't care. I'm just going to go in there and, release it and just do it. And so then that night I said to my ex, I said, I'm going to quit because it's just no one wants to hire me. And he was like, no, hang on. The right producer will hear you. And then it'll lead to another producer. And then boom, the next day, of course, the agent calls and guess, who's the voice of the AT&T branch?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So it was like every time I was on the verge of quitting, I would book something and then it would keep me going. But
don't you find it that's way, like if you have a really down week and you start going, this just isn't me. Yeah. And then when you stop thinking about it, you're going to get that call. It's like every single time.
Yeah, it's your energy that you're putting out, I guess. And I guess because I didn't care anymore, that I just went in and, did the audition and said, threw it up in the air and that was it. But it was just very difficult. I mean, you talk about auditioning a lot. These days, people will do 500 auditions online. Mm-hmm. Imagine having to physically go to a studio and do 500 auditions.
Wow.
So at least now we're just in our booth and, railing them off. But
Yeah, you can't achieve those numbers anymore, though. Are those numbers going in person, though? Like, I can imagine
No.
doing 500 in-person auditions.
no more. No.
Yeah.
Everything's changed too. Yeah, thankfully.
Everything
Honestly.
has changed in this business, Linda, and the market is saturated with voice talent, and the market is saturated with coaches as well.
Yes.
My first question for Linda in this regard is, what changes have you seen in the industry in terms of coaching since you've been doing this in the mid to late 90s?
So I started my coaching, let's see, I went with Dave in the studio in 2005. I started coaching like 2009, 10, because I work out of a physical studio with him on Long Island. And I would have people kind of find me and say, hey, could you help me out because I got duped by a demo producer. They asked me for $5,000 and now I have nothing. And I felt so bad for these people because they had no clue that they'd basically just been conned by someone selling them the dream of what this is. So I started coaching at that point. And it was very enjoyable. It's like a slow build. But it seems at the moment COVID hit, everybody thought they could do voiceover. And then like the following year, anyone who was doing voiceover for like a year to 2 years decided, oh, I can coach. It's easy. And now there's coaches everywhere. And there's these people that are advertising. They come up on my Facebook feeds and they're, you know, these, oh my, I can't even tell you. It's just so annoying with this quick sell, quick fix, like, yeah, join my thing. And in 6 weeks, you're going to wind up with a demo and you're going to be able to be working. And
they make it sound so easy.
I know.
And we know that's everything but the truth.
Right. And it's infuriating. But
I had some girl who is from my hometown, Cincinnati, reach out to me, and she's brand new. She actually has a theater background, but she said she has a coach, and I talked to her at length about the business, and she said that they said they would produce a demo for her. She goes, but I need to get somebody to edit that and do the same. And I'm going, no. If you have a demo producer, they do all of that. She goes, well, I need to find scripts. I was like, no. Which is really sad that people are out there leading people to believe that's what you got to do.
Well, there are some big people out there that are also doing similar stuff. I'm not naming anybody, but...
Oh, name names. No, I'm joking.
I only know because I have students coming to me after the fact. So after they have studied with this person and given them thousands upon thousands of dollars and walked away with nothing, that I'm having to help them either fix their demo or we completely have to redo the demo. Even one of our students, you know her, she had a producer. She thought he was drunk half the time.
It wasn't me, I promise. This time.
So this time, next time. So there's a lot of unfortunate people taking advantage.
So can we call you Linda Bruno, the fixer?
Yeah, the fixer. There was also a gentleman too that I don't really remember his name, who claimed he did voiceover, and then he decided to teach coaches to coach voiceover.
What?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
So he said he was a voiceover guy, and then everybody kind of got wind that he was, lying, and then he decided that he was going to. He pitched himself as, I'm going to coach you into being able to coach other people into doing voiceovers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's fallen off the face of the earth at this point, but...
Isn't that something?
Hey there, it's J. Michael Collins, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Now back to my lobster.
What are your thoughts on because you've been doing this a long time, and you've got experience, and you've encountered so many situations, and you've endured so many sessions where different things happen, and you're coached in different ways, and all these different things happen, all of which over time I think add to a coach's experience. But what about these folks that are like, I've been doing this 18 months. I'm going to start taking on coaching clients now.
I know. No, it makes me crazy. It makes me absolutely crazy because the reality is you have to have been in this business. In my opinion, you need to have been in the business at least 10 to 15 years to be coaching someone else. I just don't feel that you're going to have enough experience to be able to relate the real world situations that we are all still going through, the sessions that we all still go through, the client interactions that we go through. It's just, that to me, they got to have at least 10 to 15, and I'd err more towards 15, honestly.
Yeah.
Before you could, because you got to respect the coach too.
Yeah.
What is your favorite hat to wear of being a voiceover talent, being a coach, being a podcast host, all of that? What's your favorite thing to do?
Well, I kind of feel like I'm in a new phase of my life because I'm middle-aged. And because I've been doing this for so long, I had set out some goals for myself in my early 20s, and then I was fortunate enough to accomplish those goals. So I loved wearing the hat. I was about 12 years of, making incredible money. I loved wearing that hat, being that voice actor. But now I'm just tired of auditioning, people. I'm tired of I don't have the same drive that I had back then. I mean, I'm going to be 54 in a couple weeks. And so the last, maybe 7 years, my favorite hat has been coaching because I'm getting a lot of reward from it. I am coaching here at the studio, actually, several students that are on the spectrum. And I absolutely love it. Love it. So it's just seeing the passion from a new set of eyes and from, voice talent that do want to become voice actors and they're making a demo, seeing their excitement, working with our community. I love doing that. That's where my passion lies now. I still do voice work, obviously, but, it's like a different phase, I guess. Is that the next thing to say?
Yeah, it could be. So, Linda, what's different about, and I know what's different about what you do, but I want to hear it from your perspective. What is it that is different about what you do and the culture you have created with the gurus?
Everything is very real world knowledge. Everything that you learn with us is literally from something we may have experienced 2 days ago. There is no bullshit. There's no, I'm in New York. I like New York for the fact that there's no sugarcoating anything. It is, you have to deal with some harsh realities. You have to be honest with people too, what they need to work on, if there's a possibility they can do this or not. So with us, you're going to get honesty because we're not a demo factory. We're not in this let me tell you, I'm not going to retire off of what I make from coaching. So I'm doing it more as a passion project as well. It's just reality. I'm also not into the whole glamorous thing, and nothing against anybody that goes to all these events. I think it's great, and I know I should probably go to something.
I've been trying to talk her into it, Bobby.
I know. I know. I'm surprisingly introverted with that stuff, but I don't feel that there's a need to showcase that. I feel uncomfortable selling myself in that way, if it makes sense.
I get that. Yeah, totally get it.
Yeah, and again, it's great. I think it's fantastic if you have success for it. I've just never been good at that. I've always preferred that my talent speak for itself, which is how I was when I was with casting directors. I would see people go in and brown nose and bring gifts and, do all this BS talk and, suck up. And I can't do it.
I hate that part of the game too. It's just so slimy,
It is. And I'm like, no, I want to book this job because you actually thought I was right for the part, not because I, acted a certain way towards you.
Brought your new coffee cup or something like that.
Yeah.
As a coach, are you getting still people come in and say, my aunt said I have a great voice or whatever, and do you have also the younger generation who can't, some of them don't want to be told that they're doing it right or wrong, and how do you handle it on both of them?
There's I get all different walks of life, which is really fascinating. A lot of people come in that are in their second phase and they've already had their first career. And they've always been like, I've thought about this since I was a kid and I've always wanted to try it. So we have that demographic. And then always you get, yeah, ever since I was a child, I would do these funny voices and I can do these character voices. And then I have to like burst the bubble. Yeah. And say that means nothing. I think it's great. Yeah, but I can do a great SpongeBob impression. I'm like, yeah, but someone already does the SpongeBob. They don't need an impression. And then the young ones that come in are all about animation, anime, wanting to be, the next cartoon star, be in a Pixar movie, all these things that you basically have to win the lottery for. They come in for that, and I'm just very honest with them. I don't coach animation, so I tell them, I can teach you the basics of voiceover, but I will not go down that road because it's not my specialty. And it's really hard. It's a very difficult field to be in. But yes, I do have, and then we get some of the Gen Zers that come in that are like, oh, I know. Okay, so maybe you want to try the read like that. Yeah, no, I figured I did that. I know how. I'm like, why are you here? Why are you here?
Yeah, you've got it all. Why are you here?
Yeah, it's because everybody watches all these YouTube videos and all these TikTok videos, and they think they know how to do it.
Don't go anywhere. The Making Waves VO podcast returns in a moment.
You're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Me? Oh, I'm Joe Cipriano, and I'm here for the popcorn.
Oh, Bobby, this is exciting news. Our good friends at Full Compass, fullcompass.com, have an amazing special going on right now, and that is for our very special friends that are voice actors that want to buy a voiceover bundle.
Yeah, our friend at Full Compass had mentioned at VoiceOver Atlanta they were going to look into getting bundles, and wow, when they looked into getting bundles, they went straight to the top. Neumann, we all know the name, we love the name. It's just best of the best in voiceover. So they're bundling a bunch of Neumann products and gonna save you a lot of moolah. The Neumann TLM 103 voiceover bundle includes that amazing 103 microphone, the Neumann headphones, and a really cool interface. I've never tried this, but I've heard great things about the Neumann interface.
This new era of interfaces, Bobby, is amazing because you can program these interfaces to do different things, and you can program them to, lock in audio settings and different things like that. And we know the legendary Neumann name for all these years. And the TLM 103 that you talk about, there are so many of our voice actor friends that use that microphone because it is a brilliant combination of warmth and presence, and it is an amazing microphone for a voice actor. And when you put all these together, the NDH20 headphones along with the TLM 103, and then that sweet interface, you get a savings of 23%. 23%. So the bundle that Bobby was talking about was originally $4,477. You can get it right now for a limited time for $3,449.99.
And they also have bundles with the TLM 193 and the big guy, the big daddy, the U87 AI bundle.
Yeah, and those, the prices on those are a little bit different, but there's something for every price level, whatever you want to do. Check out the voiceover bundles that they have on sale right now at Full Compass. If you want expert assistance, you can give them a call at 1-800-356-5844, or Bobby, you could go on their website, right?
Fullcompass.com.
Fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
And now, back to Making Waves. Oh my goodness. We're going to get a nightmare session story from Linda coming up in just a few minutes. But Linda, what's a nightmare in the modern world of voiceover coaching?
A nightmare. Let me think.
Is it just all these unscrupulous coaches that are preying on those that think they have a good voice and can make it in the industry, or is there something else?
Yeah. No. The nightmare is finding out that someone was conned out of thousands and thousands of dollars for no result. It's sad because you do have to make an investment in this business to get started, but that part kills me. I can't stand it. And I can't stand the show, the people that are like, they make themselves all look glamorous because they want you to be opening up your wallet. And they give off the impression that is how the voiceover business is. that you're going to be making all that money when the fact is, the percentage is so low of people that are making, millions and millions of dollars doing
Yeah,
this.
take a look at the NAVA, the most recent
Right.
questionnaire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the majority? What's the average salary of a voice talent?
I think 50% make less than 10 grand a year.
Yeah,
I think
I was
that's
like, wow.
a number.
Yeah.
That's a striking number to think about.
Right.
At least that's the people who answered the
Right.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, close to reality. I'm actually surprised it's 50,000. I would think it'd be less.
No, 50%.
Sent up.
Oh.
50% make 10,000 or less.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That's
And
the number. Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
I would have to look at it, but I do recall that number, and I'm like, wow. So that's like part-time income for 50% or less.
Right.
Yeah, or
Right.
50% or more, whatever it is. So, yeah. And that causes people to have to do a lot of extra things to make those ends meet. And, and some people are going, I can't make it in voiceover after 4 months, so I'm going to start coaching. So,
Right.
know,
Exactly.
yeah.
I know.
producing
The
demos
other-
and stuff like that.
The other thing I don't like is that people think, well, you're a veteran in this business, so things were easier for you. There were less people competing. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, though? When I was having to move to New York, I was competing against Broadway stars, television actors, you name it. It was tough. It's not like it was easier back then.
Oh,
And it was mainly agent auditions,
Yes.
right? They
Yeah.
didn't pay to play then, or
No.
LinkedIn or Twitter or anything like that. to find
No,
work.
that's why I'm like, no, you can't look at it like that and think, oh, well, there's just so many people doing this. Either you want to do this or you don't, So either you want to put in the work and you want to, put in the 12, 15-hour days that we have to do initially, or you don't. So plain and simple.
Just like that. Well, Linda, we appreciate your time, and we're not going to keep you too much longer. We've got a couple more things we want to cover. But I would love to hear. I would love to hear first a recap of a nightmare session story that you did for us on the old podcast, where you were brought in for a booking, and then it all went to Hades. And then I would like for you to enlighten us with a fresh nightmare session story. But the first one, I want it to be the one you told us before, because that is such a compelling and tragic nightmare session story.
You're talking about the one with the multiple people on the conference call, or are you talking about the one that was in person in the city?
In person in the city.
Nightmare Sessions.
Okay, so this is a short one, though. Okay, so I got booked to do an Ortega commercial, and, it was in one of these studios in New York City. So I go in, and I'm all excited, and I open the door to the booth, the big control room, and there's 7 producers sitting there, and then there's the engineer. And they're like, oh, hey, Linda, so nice to meet you. And they start going down the row, introducing me to all the producers. And then the last one closest to me looks at me, and he says, by the way, I'm the one that didn't want you.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I'm glad the other ones did then. What are
Yeah.
you going to say? What are you going to say?
yeah. How do you respond?
But then at that point, I had to go in and actually do the session with him glaring at me through the glass.
What an idiot, though. How do they expect to get the most out of their performer by bringing them down right before they go into the booth?
Yeah, it's just like this ego trip.
Because he wanted to prove that he was the one that didn't think that he would work out, so he had to
know.
make a point of it.
Why say that? I mean, in similar vein, I did a session on the Ask Deanne way back when. It was a 5-word sentence, and it was going to be, I'm like, oh, this is going to be an easy session. That's always how it starts, right? And it was booked through an agent, and the first thing out of the client's mouth is, do you know how much you're making per word? And he was angry.
Jealous.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I don't know. The agent worked it out. And he's like, okay, I just didn't know. So then he decides to keep me for the full hour, of course.
Oh.
And he had me do, I'm not lying, 99 takes of this 5-word sentence.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
a jerk. All right, tell us. Linda, please tell us another one. Tell us the one where the lady was pregnant.
Oh, yes. So this was an actual audition. This was a New York City casting director. I was called in for this audition. This woman looked like she was about 8 months pregnant. She gives me the direction, and I start to do the read. And then all of a sudden she flips on me and she goes, "That's not it. That's not it at all." And she starts running, like crying, and she ran out of the room. And at that point, I'm like, can this floor just swallow me? Because I didn't do anything wrong, but somebody was just not having a good day.
Oh my goodness. Now, are one of those the ones where they didn't want you, but you ended up becoming the voice for a period of time anyway?
Yeah, that's another one.
That's the one. That's the one. Let's hear that one.
Okay, so this was with Dave Goldberg at the studio. It was one of his clients. It was like a college that was in the tri-state area. So these 8 ladies call in on a conference call, all to weigh in on the session. No problem.
Gosh.
You know, I know. You're like, okay, here we go. It all starts off all nice, and I'm in the booth. And she's the main woman who basically is taken over, is listening on her speakerphone. Okay, so you know the quality is not good. So her first thing is this even a real studio? Because it doesn't sound good.
Oh.
Right. So
You're like, lady, you're on a speakerphone.
I know, but she didn't see it that way. So Dave's like, no, this is a professional studio, Digital Waterworks, da, 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 da. And then she says, by the way, don't think that you're going to be the voice of this college, okay? This is just this one session.
Wow, negativity.
Okay, sure. So, you suck it up. We do the multiple takes, and she's just every word just nailing me on stuff. Say it like this. No, say it like that. No, I don't like that. Da, 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 da. She finally finds a take that she likes, and then she says, that one is great. Just do another one just like it. So Dave, who I love to death, decided just to play back that take as opposed to me revoicing it. And she goes, "No, it doesn't sound anything like what she just did."
And it was literally just what you did.
It was just what I did. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So then finally he smooth talked it, and then she agreed, and they all agreed. And then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, you're the voice for the next year and a half."
Nice.
Yeah. But it was
Suck it, lady.
Yeah, the session went on for almost 2 hours. So think about the hell of that. That's really what makes it a nightmare session.
This is John Malone coming to you straight from the Malone Zone. And you've got the best VO podcast in the whole internet right here. The Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin and Bobby. Boy, are you lucky.
I want to check with both you ladies really quick. Can you hear this right here? Could you hear music I was just playing?
No.
No. Hold on. Stand by. Let me see if you can hear it this way. Stand by. Do you hear that?
No.
Oh, dang it. Talk amongst yourselves.
You're not playing what I think you're playing.
No, not at all, Linda. Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
So, Bobby, you're in Nashville now, right? You moved?
I am, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you guys are doing your pontoon things?
That was so fun.
Your pontoon cruises?
Are you on Facebook?
Am.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So did you see Kevin's picture today?
No.
When we get done,
maybe you should go look at that, Linda. Are you able to pull up your computer right now?
Yeah. Let me go to my phone, actually. I think I know what you're pulling up.
Classic Kev, though.
All right, let's see.
I liked how Deborah said, "And he's all mine."
Oh, yes. I did laugh at this. What the hell is that?
That is my life jacket diaper. So if you want to float in the water, you can go on a tube. You can do one of those, lawn chair floaty things. But I choose to take a life jacket and flip it upside down, put my legs through the arms, zip that bad boy up, and it keeps me perfectly afloat.
And no alcohol was involved whatsoever when he found that out.
How did you come up with this?
I think I tried it because I was like, I don't know. If I could put it around my chest, why can't I put it lower, and that'll keep my head a little bit more above water?
Did you make yourself a sticker? Is that what this is? You know how you can outline the thing on the iPhone?
Deborah sent that to me. My wife sent that to me, and she got it from the lady that took the picture.
Okay.
And I guess she just did that thing where you, isolate it and whatever.
You can create a sticker.
Oh, okay.
Hilarious.
That's what it is. Okay, so let me see if y'all ladies can hear this. Can you hear that?
No.
Still no?
No.
Wait a second.
Kevin failed technical.
This is if this is what I think it is.
Never. Wait, no. Never.
Yeah. Just Bobby, just remember I was young and needed the money. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I was a spry little 22-year-old just going, okay, I'll do anything behind a microphone.
Why can't... Oh. Trying to... Where is it?
Lacey, you're going to have a blast editing this.
I know.
Aha!
Oh, man.
Aha! All right,
Oh,
hang
no.
on a second. Advanced...
This is where you pick up, Lacey.
No, just keep all this in there. I don't care. But here's what I do care about. Do you hear that?
Oh, no.
Yes.
No.
Hang
we
on.
can't hear it. No.
Woo!
No.
Hang on.
Oh, God.
Studio 54? What?
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Linda Bruno, circa 1990, what?
2, I think.
92?
92, 93.
Are you
yeah.
singing? Is that you singing?
Yes.
That's her on this dance remix of What You Won't Do for Love, Bobby.
My God.
Here we go.
That's
It's the
right.
Do it
Deep
again, do it again.
Waves dub mix. Oh, yeah.
I searched to find a love within. I came back to let you know.
This is straight out of Miami.
Yeah.
92.
I can see your hair teased and
Yeah.
having like leg warmers on and stuff like that.
But think about how stupid I was because it was a friend of a friend who had a record company and he was like, do you want to come to my basement and record something?
Oh,
Ooh.
geez.
And I'm like, sure. So I'm down there in this little tiny room with this guy. God knows what could have happened these days, But I was just innocent and
Yeah.
Can I tell you that happened to me one time when I was getting into radio? There was a guy who held classes on Saturday in his basement, and everybody else in the class left. And he said, "Stick around. I need to talk to you about something." I was 18 years old, and this guy had to have been 50. Yeah. And this was in his home. He started trying to kiss me,
oh my God.
and his wife was right upstairs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What'd
so
you do?
I just backed off. I was 18. I was
Right.
like, what is going on? I gotta go. Ran out to my car.
I had a boss when I was in radio, and he would say, I'll answer your question, but you got to sit on my lap.
What?
Yeah, while I answer your question. And I wear this one dress, and he goes, I like when you wear that dress because when the sun hits it, I can see through. Oh, God, total sexual harassment.
Oh, my gosh.
Crazy
Kev,
stuff.
see what we had to deal with?
Yeah.
It's so funny because I read sexual harassment e-learning course just today. And as I'm reading all this stuff, and I'm like, man, times have changed. And, the stuff that was going on way back when, and women just kind of put up with it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's so changed. Conversely, as I was reading it, I was like, I was harassed. I literally was. I had, and of course, we're getting off topic here, but one of my supervisors at a radio, she was the sales manager, so she held a little bit of authority over me, I guess, but she bought me a pair of underwear, and she insisted that I try them on in front of her.
Oh, my God.
She insisted that she see me in them. She said, I need you to go to the bathroom, and she had her other sales lady friend with her. I need you to go to the bathroom and put those on and model them. I'm like,
Oh, my
okay.
God.
But at the time, I was 19, 20.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, okay, I'll just be this guy,
You need to send her the life jacket underwear picture.
And that is a good way to end the podcast, Bobby. Good recall. And if you now, Linda, What You Won't Do for Love, the remix, the thing is when you put in that search in Google, a bunch of Bobby Caldwell versions come up, but it's not
Right.
the same song, is it?
Well, it's just a cover of that song.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem was at the same time the band Go West. I don't know if you remember who they were.
Yeah.
They have a great cover of that song. And it was released at the same time. So supposedly that's why mine was never a... Although in Italy, apparently it was a big hit and I made $600.
Whoa! I know you. This is so cool.
Linda is big in Italy.
Oh, we forgot to mention if somebody wants to reach out to you for voiceover coaching, how can they reach you?
Oh, okay. So it's the Voiceover Guru's voiceover.guru. And you can email me. You can also just email me at my regular website, linda@lindabruno.com.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you, though, for
Very nice.
thinking about that.
Love it.
You're very kind. Very kind.
Linda, thanks for
and
your
sarcastic.
time. Thanks for
It's been fun.
being on the
Thank you.
podcast today, old friend. And we'll be talking to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, that was fun, Bobby.
That was too much fun.
Isn't it fun just talking to people that have been in the business for a long time?
Yeah, that's impressive. She's seen it all.
Yeah,
She should write a book.
she could. And you and I are going to write one too. One of these days,
I'd love
Bobby.
that. I would love that.
We've got some good stories to tell. And Linda obviously has some good stories to tell. She's one of the good people in the business, that's for sure. And I think we should wrap it up right there, right?
Let's do it.
We've rambled. We've, had fun. We've talked about life jacket diapers, all these things.
Such a visual.
Oh, Lacey, just keep it all in. It's all good fun. All right. The Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know, VO.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.